Margaret Wasick, and I hope you are all safe and healthy in this time of quarantining. And I thought I'd just come and do a little bit of a video and play some music, because it seems like we need some harmonies of love in this kind of climate of such incredible insecurity and instability and fear right now. The good news is that we can definitely change our atmosphere through frequencies of love, frequencies of gratitude, frequencies of hope. And so I'd like to bring a composer to you today, Bach, JS Bach, whose music is filled with hope and joy and love, and also great spiritual promise. Bach was a man of God. In fact, he signed all of his works with the initials SDG, Soli Deo Gloria, to God alone the glory, because he didn't want to take any credit on himself. And in this time, it's so easy to feel helpless, but I personally have found that there's no more important time than now to turn to faith, because it seems like the solution is definitely something that is beyond us right now, and it is lying in our faith, hope, and love. And music has an incredible way to lead us to these pathways. And my piano, for the past 5 years, I have been having it tuned so that the note, the C above middle C, is tuned to 528 hertz. I work with an incredible piano tuner named Mark Wiener, and together he has actually done incredible work to my pianos in order to get them to breathe in these wonderful types of frequencies. And I have found that since I've had this frequency of 528, I've seen a change. Most specifically, I see how my animals and pets react to it, and how my one dog in particular, who was sick 5 years ago with Lyme's disease, once the tuning came on my piano, he started to lie next to the piano, put his foot on the piano leg. It's almost like he was feeling those higher frequencies, and they were giving him healing. And before long, I mean, the vet said, because Sonia is an older dog, the vet said, no, she's always going to be limping and always going to have trouble. And she recovered and started to not only walk for a mile, daily walk, or 2 miles, she would actually start to run. So I think animals have a way of indicating where those pathways of higher energy lie. So my dog certainly reacted to this. And anyway, I consider it, and because of a book I read by Dr. Leonard Horowitz, 528, The Key of Love. So I'd like to share the Key of Love for you today with a very famous piece of JS Bach written in the key of C. It's sunshine, it radiates beautiful energy. And one thing we know about coronavirus is that it hates the sun. Well, let's just play sunny music to it and have it go away. I'd like to just, before I perform this piece for you, I'd like to just take you within the layers of this, because there are some profound truths found in great music. And so one of the lessons in this piece of music, which starts like this, on the outside, it's a very simple pattern and a very pure melody that doesn't do much at all in the beginning. It just moves a half step up and right back down. And that's what our ear tends to gravitate to. But actually, if we peel away the onion a little deeper, we see that there are actually 5 notes. And they're all moving independently. They're all doing their own dance here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each one of those notes will have its own journey. For instance, the lowest note, the bass note, will, in those first few measures that I played, it will take a little short journey down to B, but then right back up to C. And actually, the second note, this note, will also do a slight little journey down 1 and then back up. And all of these notes, those 5 notes, will progress in their own pathways, going horizontally on their journey, but at the same time they will stay in this beautiful harmony and stay in concert with each other, stay in agreement with one another. That's one of the fascinating things about music, is that we can have this sense of unity, and yet there's also difference. So the difference within the unity. And it's a principle that in this particular time, when we all as a world are struggling with this virus and how to contain it and how to move on with life in a positive way, it's just a reminder that there's so much more beneath the surface of things than we see. We can see the economic crisis and the health crisis and the uncertainty of it all. But beneath it, we can also see the promise of some hope. And perhaps it is a time where we can be changed. My good friend, Eli Mamiach, wrote something so beautiful today about this particular time. I like to share with you because it really brought me a great deal of hope today. He wrote that life always waits for some crisis to occur before revealing itself at its most brilliant. So in a way, as you listen to this piece, I just would love to bring that intention in, that in this time of difficulty, that something brilliant will be revealed. Second point is that we can choose. The same way that you can choose now that you know that there are 5 different notes, each going along its own path, one can choose which note to listen to. In fact, if you like to listen to this 5 times, each time listening to a different note, you can feel free to do so. But we can choose at any moment to listen to the bass, or we can choose to listen to, for instance, the 4th note. Just exaggerating a little bit there, but the idea is that we can choose to listen to the voices of fear, or we can choose to listen to the inner voice of faith. Bach knew the Bible inside out, and he was very familiar with the scripture that is very apropos for this time, which says that we have not been given a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And I love that word sound mind, because it's a divine prescription that sound can really ease us to a sense of comfort. I have a free resource called Heaven's Melody, and I will link it below, that people from around the world have been telling me has helped them tremendously. You can read more about it. Basically, it's the promises from the Bible of healing, of hope, and of joy, overlaid with this beautiful frequency of 528. People have been saying that it has brought them a great deal of comfort during this time, and so I am just sharing this resource for everybody, that they may feel more inspired and more hopeful in this time. And now the third point is just that we can also, in this time where we have this mandatory stillness, we're all in some sort of quarantine situation, it's also a greater opportunity to listen, to just in that stillness to find that inner voice and maybe shut off all those voices that are spreading panic and tune in. And so without further ado, I would like to perform this piece of Bach, the Prelude in C major, and just preface it with these beautiful words that were described by Philip Spitta, who was a grand Bach scholar, one of the first Bach scholars. And he said of this piece, he said that the Prelude in C major is a piece of indescribable fascination in which a grand and beatific melody seems to float past, like a song of an angel that is heard in the silence of night, through the murmur of trees, groves, and water. Isn't that such a beautiful picture? I pray that as you hear this, that this will fill you with a sense of stillness, of peace, and that it will float upon you, just like those angels, restoring you to a sense of hope and tranquility. I'd like to invite you to a very special live stream concert on Wednesday, April 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It is called Harmonies of Love. And in this concert, I will be playing some beautiful works by Bach and Chopin, Schumann, some Beethoven, and it's all music meant to calm us, to still us, to uplift our hearts and give us some beautiful melodies for ourselves to feel more in tune with those frequencies of joy and hope and love. So I hope you will join me for that. Spaces will be limited on the live broadcast, so please click on the link below just to save your seat. And thank you so much for listening.